Hey everybody, I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how I solved the problem with tool transport. I recently sold a work van, and now I've had to make my tools mobile by truck. This can be tricky when dealing with a table saw, which is a must-have on the job site. I've always just carried my saw around like this, but it's hard on the knees and the back, and I get anxious about leaving it in the truck overnight. So I wanted my new storage system to roll and to be safe and secure in the truck bed. Mobile table saw carts are kind of rare though because the tool is so big. Dewalt makes this rolling stand, which I used to have and it was really good, but the thing is so huge. It's hard to lift and it's so bulky that it would take too much space in the bed. I really wanted something that would slide in and out of the truck easily and would ideally fit below the top of the tailgate so I could hide it under a deck. There's not a lot of room to play with there. I also wanted it to carry dust collection so I could keep things clean at my clients' homes. Before we get going, I'll say off the bat that I've always just put my table saw on the ground to use it when I'm not in a shop. Out on a job site, tall table saw setups are just really unstable. That Dewalt roller is good, but these little folding stands have always seemed dangerous to me. I've seen guys push these things over while the saw was running. You can get gutted that way. So I was going to be okay with the low setup, but mine would still have the option of adding some lift in the future. All that said, let me show you how I built this thing. I started by pulling some overall measurements and making decisions on just how big I wanted it to be. It seemed like anything close to 2 feet by 5 feet would be best for my small truck. So, starting with a full sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, I ripped the top piece 22 inches wide. Then, for the side walls, I ripped down a couple pieces to a 1/2 foot wide and cut them to about 64 inches long. These things are actually going to be shaped sort of like golf clubs, long and thin with a bell on the end. Think of a CO2 car. The design is a little like that. So I used my table saw to make a long rip cut that stops 6 inches from the end of the piece. That extra material back there is meant to provide support for these 6-inch wheels and an axle. I had to do some eyeball layouts to find a shape that would put the wheel right where I wanted it. With plot lines in place, I roughed out the shape on the end with the jigsaw, meeting the original stop cut. I then used my first one as a pattern for my second. More detailed curve work followed so I could produce clearance for the wheel without removing too much material. I wasn't too concerned with appearance here, but a little cleanup with an orbital sander never hurts. Because this thing is going to carry a lot of weight, I still wanted to reinforce the wood around the axle with some metal. So, with the spade bit, I bored some shallow depressions that would accommodate thick steel washers, which could sort of act like hubs for the axle. And I also bored the pass-through holes themselves with a 1/2 inch bit. As you can see, the profile of the cart is now a lot thinner, just 2 1/4 inches, because I need to conserve space. But that by itself wouldn't be strong enough to carry a 64-inch span. So my plan was to reinforce these sidewalls with some angled steel, this stuff. I used a Sharpie to mark desired length on these pieces and made plot lines at those marks with the speed square. I then used a 4-inch grinder to produce some initial score marks, and then cut off the excess with a hacksaw. Now with all the pieces cut, I could do some position layout. I decided that the wheel needed a little more clearance, so I plotted and made yet another small curved cut that would prevent the heel from dragging on the ground. I transferred these changes to the other sidewall and cut that one as well. This layout work also let me decide on a good length for my platform top. About 55 inches seemed like it would work. I just made this simple crosscut on my work table using a circular saw. To join a lot of the components in this project, I wanted to mostly avoid metal fasteners because they would just drive up cost and look clunky. Instead, I decided to use a high-yield adhesive, PL Premium Max. I had never used this exact product before, but I was pretty sure it would hold, and now I'm definitely a believer. I lost my footage of this next step, but I first used my brad nailer and some PL Max to attach the sidewalls to the platform with 1 1/4 inch brads. This Porter cable brad nailer, by the way, is my new favorite tool. It's totally battery powered, seems to hold a charge forever, and has no problem driving 2-inch brads. I'll probably do a whole video on it soon, but I got it from Amazon, so if you're interested in it, I'll link it in the description below. The cart was taking shape, so it was time to attach the angled steel for reinforcement. This is actually one of the easiest parts. I just flipped the unit over and ran 2 beads of adhesive on the inner faces of the sidewalls. Then I pressed the angled steel into place, bedding it firmly into the adhesive, and taped it off for a little support. If you're wondering why I positioned the angle steel with the flange down instead of up, it's because I had intended to make a little storage area down here. I ended up killing that idea, but this worked regardless because it gave the whole unit a sturdier footprint. And if you're wondering about the strength of everything in this orientation, you can see my stress test here. After a night of drying up, I removed the tape and walked some turns on it. The thing hardly even budged, so it's more than adequately strong. I also attached the hub washers for the axle with the PL Max. I just filled the depressions with adhesive, pressed the washers into place, and let them dry up. I know it looks like they're just sort of floating there, but I guarantee these things are never coming out, and the axle holes are now better reinforced. With everything shaped up and the glue dry, I could finally test my tool layout. Everything looked really good like this, about like I'd envisioned it. I would eventually replace the power strip with just a cord splitter, but I liked the orientation of things, including the rip fence. There was just one problem. This new Dewalt shop vac was about a 1/4 inch too tall for board clearance across the table saw. I really wanted everything to be stationary here, so I saw an opportunity to solve two problems at once. I decided to mount the table saw to its own cleat system, which could then slide into brackets on the platform. This would keep the table saw secure, but also make it removable, and it would create height clearance for the shop vac. So I ripped down some plywood strips and rethicknessed them slightly on the table saw. If you've never done this before, it's tricky and sort of dangerous, especially freehand like this. In the near future, I'll do a video on rethicknessing wood this way, but if you're not extremely saw comfortable, you probably don't even want to attempt this without supervision. At any rate, I plotted the footprint of the table saw onto these pieces with a pencil. Then I drilled a series of holes that would let recessed carriage bolts pass through the pieces from below, like this. I slid the table saw hold downs over these upended bolts and secured them in place with wing nuts and washers. For the rest of the bracket system, I ripped down some 1 1/4 strips of ply and cross-cut them on the saw. I then glued and shot these into place on the platform and set the newly mounted saw into this perimeter. Here you can see the height offset where I rethicknessed the table saw mounts. That would be necessary to help slide the saw in and out without friction. For the top of the bracket, I ripped a couple 2 1/4 strips, then glued and shot them onto the base pieces. I also added extra support here by driving deck screws down through both layers into the platform itself. Now you see how the saw can slide in and out of this bracket, but still be fully secure when the cart is eventually tipped up and rolled. I'll go ahead and mention a mistake here. Do you see this weird slot at the back? It was basically a poor attempt to create some removable legs. It totally failed. It happens. No real harm was done though, and it got reinforced later. See, I added plywood layers to each end so I could attach these gate handles for lifting the platform. And instead of using the short screws that come with the handles, I used some 1 5/8 screws that could grip both layers. It's a much stronger handle. This pretty much just left the wheels to deal with. My plan was to use this 1/2 inch aluminum rod as an axle, but it was just a bit too large for my pass-throughs. So I lightly reamed every component with a 1/2 inch titanium drill bit, and that provided just enough leeway. Now I could feed the rod into position and mark it for length. I could have cut this with a hacksaw, but I had a new Oscillating Multitool on hand, yet another tool that I love, so I just went ahead and made the cut with a bimetal blade chucked into the Multitool. Sliding the axle back in place, I laid out positions for hitch pins with a Sharpie. Then the axle came out yet again, I clamped it to my work table, and used a titanium drill bit to bore some 1/8 inch holes at these points. Inserting the axle back into position for the last time, I could finally put on both washers and wheels. If you've never used hitch pins like these before, it helps to loosen them with a couple pliers. You can then drive them through your guide holes and squeeze them back together once they're in place. I'll admit that this isn't the most elegant assembly for wheels, but it's fairly affordable and simple, and it works fine for my needs. So the only thing left to do now is get the other tools on the cart secured. For the shop vac, I attached a couple large eye hooks on either side of the unit and used a bungee to strap it down. Pretty straightforward and easy to remove. The rip fence really didn't want to go anywhere when I lifted the platform, but I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't tumble off if I hit a bump or something. So I used the table saw bracket as a stop on one side, then installed a couple tight-fitting blocks on the other side. This effectively trapped it in place. After that, I was all done. It's time for a test run. The saw is still heavy, nothing can really change that, but now half of that weight is carried by the wheels. And approaching the truck, I can just set the front end on the tailgate, lift the rear end using the handle back there, and slide it into the truck bed. That's it, the rolling table saw cart. As mentioned, I'm going to install a deck for this thing to hide under in the near future, and I'm also going to make a couple custom sawhorses just for this setup, so be sure to check back in for those videos down the line. In the meantime, have any ideas about this project? Anything you would have done differently? Things you like, dislike? Let me know down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching the video. Please be sure to visit us at thehonestcarpenter.com. Good luck with your own projects, everybody, and be safe working.